guys, it is Jenna, what is up, and welcome back to the Board Game Garden. Today we are going to be talking about all of the games that we played in May. We played quite a bit in May, and I'm very happy with the amount that we played. So if you guys want to hear all about the games that we played in the month of May, just keep watching and let's get into this video, shall we? So for the month of May, I did have a goal to play 30 times. So that's not necessarily 30 different games, but I wanted to have 30 plays over the month of May. This has been a goal for a few months. I think I had this goal in March and April as well, but we were just shy for both of those months, which actually speaking about March and April, I do have videos on both of those months as well over on my Jenna Rose channel. If you're just discovering the Board Game Garden now, I kind of wanted to explain to you guys what's going on. Basically, Jenna Rose is my main channel, and I have been uploading some board game content over there for the last few months, and it's been going really well, and I'm super proud of the board game content, and I'm wanting to make more. So I ended up actually making a separate board game YouTube channel, and that is where you guys are right now. It is the Board Game Garden. If you enjoy the board game content, definitely consider subscribing. The garden is growing and we'd love to have you, but I did do a March and April overview of the games that we played those 2 months. If you guys want to go check those out, I will have them linked down below, and you can go and see what games we played in those months. I will be kind of skipping over the games that I chatted about in those 2 months in like detail. I'll kind of like tell you guys if we played those games, but I won't explain them. All the ones that I'm going to be chatting about today are going to be ones that I haven't really talked about too much on the channel, but yes. Anyways, just wanted to add that. But for the stats for this month, like I said, we got in exactly 30 plays. This month we played 19 different games, which I think is the most that we've played. And then it says 0 to new to me, but I know that a lot of them were new to me because there were some that we played that we just received. There's some that we played that I like purchased, and yeah, I definitely think there are a lot here that we played for the first time this month. So I don't know why it says 0 new to me games. I'm pretty sure there's like a solid at least 10 to 12 new ones in here. We did a lot of like first place this month, which I'm very happy about. But anyways, yes, those are the stats. I'm gonna start getting right into all of the games. We'll chat quickly about them. And then we'll go through my top 3 plays of the month. I will say that this was a good play month because this was a full month where Francis and I were live streaming over on Twitch, which if you guys do not know, Francis and I have a Twitch channel where we live stream 2-player games on Tuesdays, and then I've been doing solo Sundays on Sundays. So yes, I think that's what kind of contributed to us playing so many games this month. But I'm hoping to play even more next month. I'm always like trying to like up it, but anyways, moving on to what we played this month. I'm gonna go all the way down. Starting on May 3rd, we played Wingspan, which I am just gonna point it out right here. We played Wingspan on our live stream, so got that one. We played it, I think just the base game, because I think like usually with our live streams right now, we're trying to kind of just play base games to introduce the games to people on Twitch that may be just watching it for the first time. I have a lot of followers over on Twitch that followed me for Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley and stuff that I used to play over there. So a lot of them aren't like big board gamers but want to possibly get into it. So we're trying to just play base games most of the time, and then as we are like, you know, streaming on Twitch more, we will most likely play those games again and add in the expansions. So we just played the base game of a Wingspan. It was a lot of fun. Pretty sure Francis definitely beat me on that one. And then the next game I played on the 4th of May, and this was actually a game that I played solo, and that is Indian Summer. This is a game that I purchased on the Facebook Marketplace. It is by Uwe Rosenberg, and it is published by Stronghold Games. Such a good game. It is a tile placing game where basically you have this grid where you are placing Tetris-shaped pieces, polyomino pieces, I guess, and there are holes in them, and you're basically trying to place them on your, I think it's like a forest floor, and you are putting leaves onto the forest floor. That's like the thematics of it, but you are placing them in different ways so that the holes are over top of different things, and once you have completed a section of the grid, you will get those things that you have managed to place with the holes over top of them. So really fun game. It's a little bit, you know, difficult to explain, but I will try to show you guys here. You have like your forest floor and you're placing them over top of these different blue and orange and pink spaces in order to get those things to help you then place more tiles, and you're trying to ultimately complete the entire grid. And yeah, it is my first one in the trilogy. This is Indian Summer, and then there's also Cottage Garden? Yeah, Cottage Garden and Spring Meadow. Those are the three in the Uwe Rosenberg tile laying series trilogy. It was a lot of fun, especially at a solo, or especially as a solo game, and I really enjoyed it. But I am looking forward to possibly playing that, or I am looking forward to playing that with more players, obviously, but it was a good one solo. So that is Indian Summer. Moving on, we played on the 6th, we played Arboretum, which Arboretum really surprised me. This was one that I was a little bit scared to play because I've heard that there's a little bit of, you know, take that to it, but it's not that bad, and I am really, really happy that we got to try this one out. It is from Renegade Games. So basically in Arboretum, you are drafting tree cards, and all of the trees are in a bunch of different colors or different suits, I guess, and you are drafting them and then placing them in a tableau in front of you, and you're trying to connect certain numbers and certain color trees in order to score points. But at the end of the game, whatever cards that you have in your hand and whatever cards your opponents have in their hand, whoever has the most of a certain color tree is the only person that is allowed to score those trees. So for instance, if you have the most in your tableau of the red trees, but your opponent has more red trees in their finishing hand, not in front of them, but holding in their hand, you are not allowed to score those red trees. So it's a little bit kind of like, do I want to place the tree in front of me, or do I want to hold on to a few of that color so that I can score the rest of them that I have in front of me? So it is just a lot of fun. It's not as take that as I thought, and I'm very happy about that because I'm just not the hugest fan of take that, but really enjoyed that one. Like I said, I think that was probably my biggest surprise of the month, and I'm excited to play it again. Next up, we had a game night with Francis's family, and we played 4 different games. 3 of them I've chatted about before, which is King of Tokyo, Just One, and Canvas. All 3 of those fantastic large player count games. And then the last one I don't think I've talked about too much is TUKI. TUKI is our first dexterity game, which I really want to get more dexterity games, so I'm probably going to get a few of those soon. But TUKI is published by Next Move Games, and this is a really fun dexterity game where basically you have these different shaped blocks. You have, I think there's 4 of them. There's 4 different colors of just 4x1 blocks, and you're trying to place those certain ones into different shapes that are showed to you on a card. It is a racing dexterity game, so you are seeing a card with a certain shape on it, and everyone at the table is racing to be the first. Actually, you're racing to just not be the last to build that certain shape, and you're wanting to place the 4 colored ones in certain places, but you have these white ones that you are also using that are technically invisible. They're not part of the shape, but you're allowed to use them to help the 4 colored ones get into a certain shape, if that makes sense. And it is just a lot of fun. It is just a hoot seeing everybody. I don't know if people say that anymore. It's a hoot. It's a real hoot. seeing people like struggle with trying to build the different shapes, and I just absolutely love that game. So funny, so entertaining, and just a really good time. So next up, Francis and I received a game that I late pledged on Kickstarter at the beginning of 2022, and that is Paint the Roses. Holy crap, do we ever love this game. This game, I think I can see it being in my top 10 games of 2022 for sure, but possibly even of all times. I love deduction games, and this was actually the first one that we played that was a cooperative deduction game, and it is just so much fun to like work together to kind of solve a deduction sort of puzzle. And basically in this, it's a little bit hard to explain without like showing the pieces and stuff, but you have a board that is the Queen of Hearts garden, and you as a group are playing as the gardeners, and you're trying to complete the Queen of Hearts garden with tiles, hexagon shaped tiles, before she catches you. And the way that you're doing this is with these tiles, you are placing them down, and then you each have a card that you are trying to get everyone else to guess. So for example, I might have a card that I need everyone to guess that it is a red and a red flower. So two red flowers beside one another. So I'm going to be hopefully, placing a red tile and then saying, I have two matches around me. So that means that that red tile that I just placed, there are two other red tiles beside it or in, around it somewhere. So they can kind of look and say, oh, there's two matches of red to red. So her card might be red flower to red flower. There are also shapes. So the cards kind of get harder, which allow you to move faster away from Queen of Hearts. And it's a little bit hard to explain, but you guys get the general gist of it. You're trying to guess one another's cards, and it is a good time. And it is really difficult, I will say that, but such a fantastic game, published by North Star Games. Designer Ben Goldman is actually a first-time designer, so amazing job on his part, absolutely amazing, and I freaking love this game. Next up is actually another cooperative deduction game. I didn't get it off the shelf, but it is right here, and this is Decorum. This is published by Floodgate Games, and this again, I think might be in the running for one of my top games. These Paint the Roses and Decorum have just been my favorite things this month. They are so much fun. In Decorum, you are, people that are moving in together into a house, and you have this little house board that you are moving different pieces of furniture, or I guess they're not furniture. You're moving around accessories in the house, and you all have different things that you want in the house on a card that you're not allowed to show one another. So that was the first game we played that day, and then I believe we also played on stream a game that we absolutely love. We've had this one for a while, and that is Galaxy Trucker. Oh my goodness, I love Galaxy Trucker. This is probably the funniest games, one of the funniest games that we have. It is published by CGE, and it is a game where basically you are building up your spaceship. You each have your own spaceship that you're building with these different tiles. The game kind of goes in two phases, and the phases are very different. I will say that I do love the building of the spaceship more than I like the other part, but the other part is like the funny part. So basically you are building up your ship with these square tiles, and it is kind of a puzzle because you're trying to connect them in different ways. You're trying to get certain things onto your spaceship so that when you do the second part, which is going on an adventure or you're going on a journey throughout space, you are flipping over cards of different events that happen throughout your journey. So there could be a meteor shower where you have meteors coming at your spaceship and hitting your spaceship, and so you're trying to get some lasers onto your spaceship, and you're trying to get some thrusters onto your spaceship so that when you have an open space card, you can, move forward quickly and get further ahead of your opponents. You have different little places for astronauts to go into your spaceship. You have, else do you have? Battery packs, you have cargo, so you have space to pick up some cargo when there is a card that flips over that says, you're picking up cargo from this planet. So you're trying to get all these different things onto your spaceship with this puzzly tile placing part of the game, and then you have the adventure part where you're flipping different cards and different things are happening. And it is the funniest thing when someone's spaceship gets hit by a meteor and then like half of their spaceship falls off and floats off into space. It is just the funniest thing. It's very sad, but it's very funny to see your opponent's spaceship fall apart. So yes, that is Galaxy Trucker. We played it on live stream, and it is just such a funny game. It is just so good. Definitely recommend. That is Galaxy Trucker. Next up, we have another space game. We played quite a few space games this month, but this is a new one to us that we wanted to try out, and that is from Renegade Game Studios, Clank in Space, which we have just the normal original Clank, which we absolutely love. And this one is very, very similar. I will say that I don't know if you need both of them, but if I was to choose between the two, I think I would choose Clank in Space. I think there's just like a few added mechanisms that just make it that tad bit better. I do prefer the theming of the first Clank. I like the whole dragon and going into the castle and stuff. I like that theming a little bit better than the space, but the added mechanisms in here, because basically with Clank, you are going down and you're trying to steal an artifact and then get out before you die. And in this one, you're going onto the spaceship, you're trying to, again, get an artifact and then leave the spaceship on a pod before you die. But with this one, the one thing that I don't love about the first Clank is that there's some players that will go down, they'll grab the closest possible artifact that may not get them as much points, but they will take that and then try to escape really quickly without anyone else having a chance to get an artifact. So with this one, they've kind of cleaned that up a little bit, where the people have to do a few things before they can take an artifact. So there's not that like one person that's going to be going down there, taking something real quick and leaving, because they have to complete those little things first. So it gives everyone more of an opportunity to get their artifact and then leave. But this one's so funny. It was in a vlog that I did over on the Jenna Rose channel. We played it and it was so funny. So that is Clank in Space. And then next up for that day, Francis and I played a 2-player game of another new to us one, and that is Rome. This is published by Red Raven Games. It is a Ryan Lockett game, and we absolutely love, you're not gonna be able to see it, we absolutely love Above and Below, so I wanted to branch out and get another Ryan Lockett game. I do really want to get more. I would love to get Now or Never and Near and Far eventually, and then possibly The Ancient World, and I would love to grow the Ryan Lockett collection, but this was the one that I found on Facebook Marketplace, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this one a chance. I knew there was a little bit of, not so much area control, but area majority kind of mechanisms in this, but I gave it a chance, and I am so happy that I did. Much like Arboretum, this was another one that surprised me this month, and I am obsessed with this game. This might be one of my favorite ones this month, but basically you have a 6 different cards in the middle that are 2x3. So they're like 2x3 grid cards that you have in this bigger grid that you are placing your little chips in certain configurations based on the people that you have in front of you. So you start out with 3 people in your little group, and they have different kind of Tetris shapes that you can place your tiles onto the board. So for example, you might have one character that allows you to place 3 in like a little L. So you would flip over that character, place those in that configuration, and then eventually, once a card is full, that 2x3 card is full, whoever has the most chips on that card takes that card and adds it to their group of people. So on the other side of that card that everyone was placing their chips on has another person that then you can use to place more onto the map, I guess. And you're basically doing that until someone reaches 10 characters in front of them. Whoever has the most points at the end wins. All the characters have different victory points. There are some like artifacts that you can get to kind of help you throughout the game, but again, just such a big surprise. It's a small, simple ruled game, but so much thought that goes into it. And again, I just love Ryan Laukatt's art and his style of games. I don't know, I love them so much. So that is Rome, and that is everything that we played that night. So the next few games we played on a Sunday. So I started out the day with a solo Sunday live stream, and I played a game that we've had for a while that I have never played solo, and that is Tiny Towns. Tiny Towns is the cutest game ever. I absolutely love it, and I will say that I think I preferred it solo over multiplayer, to be honest with you. It was a lot of fun, and I'm super excited to hopefully in the future get some expansions. I might grab a few of those. I think the solo play with the expansions would be so much fun and just give a little bit more of a challenge to it. But if you've never seen Tiny Towns before, basically, it's actually pretty easy to show you on the back because they have some great graphics. You have a 4x4 little town, and you are placing cubes in different configurations, kind of like Rome, to be honest with you. You're placing different colored cubes in different configurations on the board to then take those cubes off to build a building. So each building has a certain, configuration with different colors to then make that building or build that building. So you're trying to place these cubes out, build buildings in your little 4x4 town, and then each of the buildings in different ways will get you points. So it is a lot of fun solo because you're basically just flipping cards that then allow you to choose from the cards that are getting flipped. In a multiplayer game, everyone has a turn where they say, everyone pick up wheat, which is the yellow cube. So then everyone has to pick up wheat, which kind of gets a little bit annoying because like there might be some people that are making completely different buildings than you and asking everyone to pick up a certain color cube that you do not need, and you have to pick up that cube. So you'd have to pick it up and you'd have to place it on your board, whether you can use it or not. And unfortunately, if your board gets full of unused cubes, you're out of the game. So it's a little bit annoying. I will say that when you play this at 5 or 6 players, it gets a little bit difficult. So I really enjoyed this solo. It's definitely one that I recommend playing solo. It was a lot of fun. It is published by AEG, and like I said, I think I might grab, they have 2 expansions. They have Villagers and Fortunes, and I might end up picking up both of those because I really enjoyed Tiny Towns solo. So that is that. And then for that day after my stream, I actually went over to my parents' house and we played Canvas, which was a lot of fun. Just One and TUKI. So I've already talked about all 3 of those. Absolutely love those games, and my family had a lot of fun with those. The next day we played, or actually it's not the next day. The next time we played games, we played Paint the Roses and Seize the Bean. I've already chatted about those. And then that following Friday, we did have a game night with France's parents. We ended up playing Decorum and Paint the Roses. Clearly we have liked those this month. And then in between those 2, we played a little filler game, and that is Bites. This was new to us, and it was sent over from Board Game Tables, so thank you so much to them. But they are currently having a Kickstarter right now. I will link it down below, where they have their 4 most popular games, which Bites is one of them. They have all 4 of the base games available, and then they also have a bunch of new expansions. So definitely recommend going and checking it out if you are interested. But Bites is a pretty simple, just lighthearted game, a filler game, and you are playing as ants that are going along this track of food. You're kind of just like ants at a picnic trying to steal the food, and basically on your turn you're moving one of the colored ants to a space of that same color. So for example, there are green pepper pieces and there is a green ant. So the green ant can only move to the green peppers. So you're moving that ant to a green pepper, and then you're taking one of the pieces on either side of the ant. So in front of the ant or behind the ant, you would take that piece of food and place it in front of you, and you're collecting different pieces of food in order to gain points. And the way that the food ends up being a certain amount of points is wherever the ant ends at the end of like the line of food. Doing a really bad bad explanation of this game. It's a very simple game, but there is an anthill at the end, and basically if the yellow cheese ant lands at the end on the anthill and it is the highest one, which means it is worth 4 points, then all of the cheese that you have collected, you would get 4 points each for. So you're just collecting different foods in hopes that that colored ant lands on a higher number at the end. So that is that. There's also chocolate and wine that you can collect that does different things. It comes with a bunch of different cards that change up the game completely. So the replayability of this game is so, so good. It is a really, really amazing like filler game, and I'm so, so happy to have it. It was a lot of fun. So that is Bites. And then that weekend on that Saturday night, Francis and I played Merchants of the Dark Road, which is down here. I didn't want to take it off the shelf, but we played Merchants of the Dark Road for the first time, and I will say that one was a lot of fun. It is published by Elf Creek Games, and wow, I have heard a lot of like mixed reviews of Merchants of the Dark Road, but we really, really enjoyed it. It took a little bit to like get into it. There's a lot of like different dice mechanisms and dice manipulation and stuff like that, and moving around the board and different things, and it is a very good game. It's definitely one that we finished it and I was like, I want to play that again because I want to, you know, get the strategy down better, and I want to try to get a better score this time. Obviously Francis did beat me, but it is one that I definitely want to play more, and I can see getting up there in some of my favorite games, which it's a little bit difficult to explain Merchants of the Dark Road. It is a pretty big game. It's not like one of the heaviest games that we have, but it is pretty up there. I would say it's like a medium game, but you're going around and you're collecting goods to then sell to the Queen's Commission, or you are then traveling to towns to drop off heroes that you've collected and sell goods and stuff like that. It's a little bit hard to explain. I don't want to go through the whole thing because I have been filming for quite a bit, but Merchants of the Dark Road, such a good game. I definitely recommend going and checking it out. It is gorgeous. The production, absolutely amazing, and I will most likely be doing like a review on it. Hopefully we will see, and Francis and I do want to live stream it one time. So that is Merchants of the Dark Road. Okay, so we're moving on to the last few games of the month. Actually not this past Sunday, 2 Sundays ago, I did another solo Sunday, and we played The Amazing Three Sisters. This is by 25th Century Games. It is a roll and write, and I absolutely love this game, especially solo. It is so funny because you are competing with Farmer Edith, or I guess you're not competing with her. She's just causing havoc while you're trying to just peacefully garden, and it's just the funniest thing. Absolutely love this roll and write. I definitely recommend checking it out if you like roll and writes, and if you like gardening and stuff. It's a lot of fun. So that is Three Sisters. Like I said, I did live stream it, so it should be up on our Twitch channel if you want to go and rewatch the live stream, but that was a lot of fun. And then speaking of live streams, we also, just this past Tuesday, which actually a week ago, because this video is going up on Tuesday. But the game that we actually live streamed was Taverns of Tiefenthal, so you can actually go and watch us play this over on Twitch if you want. But Taverns of Tiefenthal is a dice worker placement game where you own your own tavern, and much like Seize the Bean, you're kind of serving your customers and upgrading your tavern, and it is just a lot of fun. You are using dice to do certain things, and it is a good one. So that is Taverns of Tiefenthal. And then lastly, we have one game left, and that is another Board Game Tables game. This was also sent to us by Board Game Tables, and that is On Tour. It is another one of the 4 that are available on Kickstarter right now with expansions. This one doesn't have an expansion available, but it has another variation on tour, which on tour is another roll and write. Actually, it's a roll and a flip and write at the same time, where you are planning a tour for your band. And you are putting numbers in different places on a map, and at the end of the game, you are trying to create the best tour for your band. This one is specifically USA and Europe, but the one on Kickstarter right now is New York and Paris. And overall, this was a very, very fun roll and write, flip and write, whatever you want and write. I definitely recommend. The rules are very, very simple and it's easy to teach, but it's very thinky and very puzzly, and you're trying to place numbers in specific places in order to make the longest route. I will say that I am pretty good at this game, I will say, and it was a lot of fun to be good at it, and I really enjoyed this one. So that is on tour. Okay friends, so that was all of the games that we played in the month of May. I am surrounded by some amazing games here, but I do have to pick my top 3 of the month. And clearly, I think I made it pretty clear that I really, really, really enjoyed both Paint the Roses by North Star Games as well as Decorum. I think those would be my top 2 for sure. I love deduction games so much, and when you add that like cooperative deduction to it, it's just a lot of fun to like work together to figure things out. So those are 2, and then, ooh, I don't know if I can choose between Arboretum or Rome. We did play Rome both 2-player and 4-player, and we only played Arboretum 2-player. And I will say that I don't know if I would like Arboretum at more than 2 players. I feel like it would get very stressful trying to think like what colors other players were going for, because you would be playing with 3 other people as opposed to just 1 other opponent, and trying to figure out like which ones you would score and trying to beat other people with your finishing hand. I feel like it would be pretty stressful. So I think I really, really enjoyed Arboretum at 2. I think that's going to be like a really good 2-player game for Francis and I to play. And I think that Rome would be a little bit better with more player counts, 2 players, 4 players. So I think Rome would probably be number 3. So top 3 plays of the month would be Decorum, Paint the Roses, and Rome. Those are my top 3, but definitely let me know down in the comments what games you guys played in May, what your top game of the month was, which games you guys think I should check out based on all of these games that I chatted about today. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. Be sure to, if you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. Our little garden is growing quickly, and it makes me very, very happy, and I'm so excited to bring you guys more board game content, and this is just the start. So if you guys want to join, definitely consider that. Give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps the videos be seen, and then comment down below, like I said before, what games you guys played in the month of May and which ones you recommend I check out, or which ones you would like me to share. So yes, anyways, I love you guys so much. Remember, you are somebody's reason to smile. I still need to think of a different ending quote because that is from my Generose channel, but you are my reason to smile, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, friends.